Detroit's Nokia moment? In 2007, if you had asked almost anyone on Earth a simple question, what company dominates the mobile phone industry? The answer would have been obvious: Nokia. At the time, Nokia looked unstoppable. They sold hundreds of millions of phones. They had global distribution, world-class engineers, a trusted brand. And perhaps most importantly, they believed they were safe. Then, a company from California walked onto a stage and revealed something strange: a phone with no physical keyboard, a phone that was more expensive, a phone that many experts laughed at. Its name was the iPhone. Within just a few years, the entire industry changed, and the company that once ruled the market was suddenly fighting for survival. Nokia didn't disappear because they made bad phones. They disappeared because they underestimated how quickly the game could change. Today, a similar question is beginning to appear in the automotive world. And for many Americans, it's an uncomfortable one. Could the American auto industry be facing its own Nokia moment? Because something remarkable is happening on the other side of the Pacific. Chinese car companies are producing vehicles that are often cheaper than their American competitors, yet somehow they are also loaded with technology. Bigger screens, smarter software, more features, more innovation, and in many cases, lower prices. Just 10 years ago, that would have sounded ridiculous. 20 years ago, it would have sounded impossible. But today, the rest of the industry is paying attention. And there is a reason why. The shock that nobody saw coming. 20 years ago, Chinese cars were often viewed as cheap copies, vehicles known for low prices rather than cutting-edge engineering. Few people outside China took them seriously. But today, companies like BYD, NIO, XPeng, Li Auto, Zeekr are making the rest of the industry pay attention. And what scares competitors isn't just that China has caught up, it's how fast they've done it. Because catching up in 20 years is impressive. Catching up in 10 years is shocking. But catching up in just a few product cycles, that changes everything. Now, imagine you're standing in a showroom. On one side is a modern American vehicle. On the other side is a modern Chinese EV. The Chinese car offers a massive touchscreen, advanced voice controls, over-the-air software updates, AI-powered features, automatic parking systems, luxury interior options, and often a lower price tag. At that moment, most people ask the same question: how is that even possible? The answer begins with something most consumers never see: the supply chain. The secret behind the lower price. When most people think about a car, they think about horsepower, design, performance, maybe range. But increasingly, the most important part of an electric vehicle isn't the motor, it's the battery. And batteries have become the oil fields of the 21st century. Whoever controls them gains enormous advantages. And this is where China's story becomes fascinating. Over the last 2 decades, China didn't just build car factories, it built entire industrial ecosystems. Mining, processing, battery manufacturing, component production, everything connected together. Imagine two chefs. One buys ingredients from 5 different stores across town. The other owns the farms, the trucks, the warehouse, and the kitchen. Which chef can produce meals more cheaply? The answer is obvious. That's essentially what happened in the EV industry. Many Chinese manufacturers operate inside a system where huge portions of the supply chain are located nearby. That reduces transportation costs, reduces delays, reduces complexity, and ultimately reduces price. For consumers, the result is simple: more car for the money. But lower prices aren't what worry Detroit the most. Why do Chinese cars feel like they came from the future? The truly surprising part begins after you sit inside one. Many Americans still think of a car primarily as transportation, a machine that gets you from point A to point B. Increasingly, Chinese manufacturers see something completely different. They see a smartphone on wheels, and that single difference changes everything. Think about it. When you buy a smartphone, you expect constant software updates, new features, new apps, a better experience over time. Now imagine applying that philosophy to a car. Instead of designing a vehicle like a traditional automobile, you design it like consumer electronics. Suddenly, the priorities change. Software becomes just as important as mechanical engineering. User experience becomes a competitive weapon. The dashboard becomes a digital platform, and the vehicle begins evolving long after it leaves the factory. This is one reason why many Chinese vehicles feel surprisingly futuristic. But if they're really that good, why haven't they taken over America? The advantage American automakers still have. So if Chinese automakers are innovating this quickly, if they're adding technology at an incredible pace, and if they're often selling vehicles at lower prices, why haven't they already dominated the American market? The answer is surprisingly simple. Because building a great car is one thing. Proving that car can survive for 10 or 15 years is something else entirely. And that's where American manufacturers still hold some powerful advantages. Think about it. A customer buying a new vehicle isn't just purchasing technology. They're buying trust. They want to know what happens 5 years from now. "10 years from now, maybe even 15 years from now. Will the vehicle still be reliable? Will replacement parts be available? Will there be mechanics who know how to fix it? Will the resale value hold up?" These questions matter because unlike a smartphone, a car isn't something most people replace every 2 years. It's one of the biggest purchases they will ever make. And this is where brands like Ford, Chevrolet, GMC, and even Tesla still benefit from decades of customer confidence. Millions of Americans have driven these brands for generations. Many families have stories involving the same manufacturers. The truck that lasted 250,000 miles. The family SUV that survived years of road trips. The work vehicle that simply refused to die. Trust like that cannot be manufactured overnight. It takes decades, sometimes generations. And that's a challenge every new automaker eventually faces, no matter how impressive the technology may be. Because consumers don't just buy innovation, they buy certainty. And right now, many Chinese brands are still trying to earn that certainty. But history shows something important. Trust alone rarely keeps you on top forever. And that's exactly what worries Detroit. The thing that terrifies Detroit isn't afraid of one Chinese car. Detroit is afraid of speed. Not top speed, not horsepower, innovation speed. 20 years ago, Chinese cars were often mocked. 10 years ago, they were dismissed as cheap alternatives. Today, they're competing against some of the biggest names in the industry. That's not normal. That's extraordinary. Imagine watching a company go from beginner level to world-class competitor in a fraction of the time experts expected. That's what many executives are seeing right now. And here's the uncomfortable part. Technology industries tend to reward speed. Consumers rarely compare products to what existed 10 years ago. They compare products to what exists today. And today's expectations change fast, very fast. A feature that feels revolutionary this year may feel outdated next year. Software updates, artificial intelligence, driver assistance systems, digital ecosystems, connected services. These are becoming increasingly important parts of the vehicle experience. And in many of these areas, Chinese companies are moving at astonishing speed. For traditional automakers, that's a difficult challenge because large organizations don't change direction quickly. Imagine trying to turn an aircraft carrier. It's powerful, massive, impressive, but slow to maneuver. Now imagine a speedboat, smaller, more agile, capable of changing direction almost instantly. That's the battle taking place right now. Legacy automakers carry decades of infrastructure, factories, supplier networks, dealer systems, existing business models. All of those assets helped make them successful, but they can also slow down change. Meanwhile, many newer Chinese EV companies started with a clean sheet of paper. No gasoline engine legacy, no outdated systems to protect, no century-old business model to preserve. That gave them flexibility, and flexibility creates speed. The real question is whether speed alone is enough to win. And to answer that, we need to return to Nokia. The real lesson of Nokia? Most people think Nokia failed because its phones weren't good enough. That's not true. Nokia made excellent phones, reliable phones, profitable phones, phones millions of people loved. The problem wasn't quality. The problem was direction. They misjudged where the market was heading. And by the time they realized it, the gap was already too large. That's the lesson every industry should remember, including automotive. History is full of dominant companies that believed their position was secure. Some adapted, others didn't. Today, nobody knows which category America's automakers will ultimately fall into. Maybe Detroit reinvents itself again. Maybe American companies launch technologies that redefine the industry. Maybe the next breakthrough comes from Silicon Valley, or maybe from Texas, or maybe from somewhere nobody expects. What matters is recognizing that the rules of competition are changing. And when the rules change, past success doesn't guarantee future success. The question has changed. 20 years ago, almost nobody believed Chinese automakers would become serious global competitors. Today, that debate is over. They are competitors, real competitors. The question is no longer, can Chinese car companies compete with American automakers? They already can. The real question is, how far can they go? Will they remain technology leaders? Will they dominate electric vehicles? Will they become the next global automotive giants? Nobody knows. But one thing is certain. The future of the automotive industry is being written right now. And for the first time in generations, America is no longer the only country holding the pen. Because if history has taught us anything, it's that revolutions often look impossible, right up until the moment they become inevitable.